So a couple of months ago, a tattoo artist reached out to me through Instagram. It appears that he's also a collector, which you can kind of see when you check out the tattoos he's done on his Instagram page. But he was ready to let go of a couple things. And what he said was, hey, when I see this stuff, I'm thinking about you, Ed. Maybe you want to buy some of my things. That's all good, but apparently he lives in Chile, which is like the other side of the world for me. So I started looking around and knew this was the stuff I'm totally into, but knowing I have to factor in shipping and customs and all that extra tax stuff, I was gonna have to go big or just stay home, you know. So I decided to do a pretty big purchase off of Hellwink Tattoo, my buddy, my collector friend over in Chile, and here's what I got. It appears that he was also into this crazy 90s looking neon color stuff. The first thing I picked out of a bunch of stone protectors is one I actually didn't own yet, and that's this guy right here. The name eludes me now, but I'm always drawn to like the more colorful characters. So this definitely looks like a bad guy. The hair could have been a bit better, but I love the sculpt on this and how badass he looks. In there he also had this 5.5 knockoff, but look how gruesome that face looks right here. I love it. And yeah, really like the shading on the 5.5 body. The legs are not articulated. There's nothing in the waist like a spring action or anything. So it just seems like your average 5.5 Galaxy Fighter type of toy, but I have never seen this sculpt before, so this was very cool. The hair is still in really good condition. And if we're talking about types of bootlegs, here we got a giant Toxie. Yes, this thing has been on my list for the longest time. These have been on eBay in the box with the mop and everything, and for a good deal, but now they're gone. You know, that part has dried up. I think somebody had, you know, like an old stock and he was selling it on eBay, and now everybody kind of just wants this. Now this one is definitely a bit sun faded. It's a shame that the eye doesn't have it, but the prices that this guy's going for in box right now is just insane. So I kind of wanted to get this giant Toxie. I think this guy is 10 inches tall. It's something that I knew about, that I knew existed, and I wanted it for a really long time. So I was very glad to see it in his collection amongst all these other things, and I knew I had to just, you know, make a move on it. Then over here, we got the Hideous Hovercraft, which is one of the vehicles I was missing for my Toxic Crusaders line. This is the official release by Playmates. It seems to be missing just a couple pieces, like one of the lights that's over here, but just look at the colors on this thing. If you're watching the channel, you probably already know, but this mold actually got repurposed for Lieutenant Leo's Bodacious Buggy, and yeah, I think it actually looks better in the Toxic Crusaders line. This just all the pink and the neon colors, and the rotars actually turn and everything, if you want to get some bad air in. And then over here we have a My Monster Pet. I picked one of these guys up over in the UK on my first trip, and now I found this other one. Well, I didn't really find it. It got offered over to me. I might need to clean him up a little bit so he looks more presentable, but everything's there. The nice sculpting over here. He's got those cool claws. This guy's called Gonk, and he's part of 3 of the My Monster Pets that came out right around the same time as the My Pet Monster thing, honestly. So this is so cool. Now I'm still on the lookout for the 3rd one, and then there's 2 more in the 2nd series of this thing. So yeah, this is actually a hand puppet, so you could put your hand in there and make the mount move and everything. And then the stuff I definitely splurged on was Madballs. Now, I see Madballs on card quite often, but they're always out of my price range, and well, he had a whole bunch. So I was like, well, I'm gonna splurge. I'm definitely gonna splurge. I got 8 of them over here, and yeah, they're the conditions, they vary. They have some creases, but overall they're all really good. None of the blisters are broken, because, like, as you can see, this stuff, how do you even like store it without breaking it or anything? So these are gonna need to be taken extra care of. I think this is obviously the second series of the Madballs, but all still looking pretty cool. Over here we have lock clips that's going into the collection, and these are the first Madballs I get on card, so I'm super glad. I got snake bait. Then I got a really cool one. This one is like a hand with an eye in it. This guy's called Fist Face. Then we have Wolf Brett. This is one I know from the Head Poppers, so really cool to be adding this one to the collection. And then we have Swine Sucker. Yes, epic. Over here we have Freaky Fullback. Check that out. That's nice. Then we got Splitting Headache, which is just another crazy sculpt. This one is a bit yellowed over here, but that's fine. And we got Bruise Brother, so also one of the ones that made it into the Head Popper series. Check that out. Nice details, a little bit of blood, a little bit of scruffages on the guy, but yeah. Gross, ghastly, freaky fun for everyone. Toss him, bounce him, and catch him. So yeah, I definitely splurged on this stuff over here, but I'm super happy with all of these things. You can see the neon colors. It's all just freaking lovely. So I definitely want to thank Hello Wink Tattoo for reaching out, giving me a bro price on all this stuff. That isn't the only thing I bought off camera, because if you check out my Instagram, there's, you know, a lot of pickups, but not everything gets turned into a video, because sometimes I'll actually go out with a couple friends of mine and not film, or I will see that somebody picked up a huge lot of Beast Wars. Now that is one of the last toy lines I got into as a kid, and when Danny, who we did a really cool video over at his crazy garage sale, which was just filled with Joes, he picked up a ton of these Beast Wars, and he was like reaching out like, you want to buy some of these and I'll cut you a deal on them. So I picked up all of this stuff. So just in case you don't know, Beast Wars or Beast Wars Transformers is what basically came after the G2s in the Transformers line, and they're beasts that can transform from one into another. And I already have a big collection, but these are the ones that were missing in mine. So first up we got Clawjaw, which I'm not gonna attempt to transform right now because I didn't have him back in the day, so I don't want to mess him up. Then we got Iguanus, more of a smaller one, probably not too tough to transform. Let me give it a little try. So this probably, oh, see, there we go. Some of these have like a little locking mechanism, and then they quite easily, you know, change over into the actual toy. So yeah, pretty nice. This is from the series 1, I believe. This is Cheetor. He was in, you know, that weird CGI cartoon thing we got in the 90s, but always wanted to get this one. Then we also have Tarantulas from that first thing. Yeah, he's got a projectile even, and that came with it as well. So these had like a ton of like hidden secrets, and it was actually like a very fun line to figure out, like, oh, how did he transform, what can he all do. I know like the big T-Rex or the Megatron in it and the Optimus Prime Gorilla, they have a ton of extra features. Then over here we got a Jetstorm, which I really like the way this guy is looking. In the vintage Transformers line, it was always, you know, the airplanes that would have like some of the coolest designs, and just the ones that would break the most easily. But yeah, over here we have another aerial over here we have another aerial transformer type of toy, this time based off of a bug, but I really like the way this looks. Wanted to add it to the collection. Then a little later in the line, and in the CGI cartoon, they went over to Transmetals, so something fused in them and they turned into, well, not so disguised animals. This is Rhinox, which I really like the design on this. They came with this chrome kind of stuff as well, which is really prone to, you know, flaking, so I'm not going to touch this too much. I'm just going to put him on the shelf next to the other ones. And we got one of my favorite characters. This guy's called Rat Trap, and he just looks freaking cool. He was like definitely the funniest in the cartoon, I think. I really like this character along with Dinobot, but already have those. So a big thanks to Danny for hooking me up. Also, what quite often happens is I'll go out to a show and I don't even feel like this is going to be an episode, so I don't bring a camera, or I start recording way too late when we've already found too much stuff. Me and Renzo, we will go out to like a collector get-together thing, and we'll go there almost every month and find stuff, but not always do we make a video on it, unfortunately. So here's a couple of the highlights with my hunting trips I usually do with Renzo, and we somehow just don't film. These are things I picked up. Not everything is shown in here, but you can see everything on Instagram, obviously. This is not a Transformers watch, but some type of knockoff. I know there was like one of those really cool Melee ones, but this is just another Transformer type of knockoff thing. So you can twist around the head over here. Maybe it's the other way around. There we go. Here is our little dude, and he kind of folds out like this. Maybe this was actually like a based off of something that Transformers used later on. But yeah, this is just a knockoff, but a very cool one, so I was very glad to add this. This was not expensive. I remember being like, oh wow, yeah, I'll definitely take that one home. So yeah, gonna pop his head over here so he's kind of like listening in on everybody. Then we have a couple of like these PVC figures. Like whenever they look cool, I'll pick them up. This dude, I don't know what he's called, but he's part of the Snorks line, and he's basically just the bad guy. And then over here we got a Scrooge McDuck, because I want to pop him next to my DuckTales NES games, and he looks freaking cool, right? I love this thing. I don't know anything about it, but he was thrown in with some wrestler figures, and this is based off of a knockoff wrestling toy line called Over the Top Man, or Overtop Man, and this is the German Butcher. He has kind of like this Red Shadows thing from Action Force thing going on with the skull, and I kind of love the shading on like these figures. There's a ton of them, so I'm definitely going to be on the lookout for more of these, but I was really glad when I saw this, and I was like, should I make a move on it? Because at the time I hadn't done any, you know, like Google lens searches or anything, but I definitely knew I wanted to take this home just because how cool he looked. And at one of those last things we visited, I actually picked up this Silverhawks big bird plane. So it is yellowed, it does have some broken pieces, but I think I ended up paying $15 for this. And yeah, I'll get some of that dust off, and I'll have, you know, a really cool addition to my really small Silverhawks toy collection. Whenever I go out and I think I'm not gonna find anything, I end up finding like the weirdest TMNT stuff ever. So this was basically like the cinema or the movie theater lobby cards. So over here you have all of that information from 20th Century Fox. This is for the Secret of the Ooze, the second movie, and there were 3 of them in there. I ended up paying quite a bit for this. I ended up paying $50 for all 3 of them together, but over here you got Jitsu and Master Shredder. Over here you have Master Splinter and the Turtles, and then probably the coolest one where you have Raph pointing over at Kino that he should leave the dump site because he's gonna fight some of these foot soldiers. So really glad actually finding this. Not something I was on the lookout for, but whenever I find like this crazy TMNT stuff, I just have to get it. And then another really fun thing I picked up is actually this Crack Ups Crash Dummy by Tycode. So this is basically your plushie, but he comes apart. So there's some Velcro in there, and you can crash them, you can bash them, they'll fly apart. Yeah, I was really drawn to this because I had a couple of these as a kid, and I never knew they had these big dummies. So really glad about being able to see this thing, and apparently they have even more of these and cats and stuff. I don't know, was there maybe one of these, or were there more? I'm not certain. Really glad about bumping into this thing and being able to take it home because I really like it. Even though the box has, you know, a crush over there, I really love it. And the same thing went for Tom Blue this year. We went over to this huge flea market. Me and Laszlo, and I was just not feeling it. I was not feeling filming, but I wish I had done it because we had found so much cool freaking stuff over here. Diving right in, one of the most epic pieces I picked up for my Thundercats collection is this Thundercats belt for the minis. So you have all of these mini figures that were on it, and I loved it, man. I saw it and I immediately grabbed it, saw that it was a good price, and I didn't let it go. So you can basically pop your mini Linos and Monkeans and so on in there. This kind of looks like the bandolier from Star Wars, but also from Battle Beasts. And it does have some type of like the similar feel. So you have the Thundercats logo on here. You can hook it up like this. And on the other side, there's even more figures. So here's another variant of those minis. And you got the Mumra like this and the Mumra like that. Now, these figures can actually hold weapons, so they had a staff and swords and everything like that, which you would ultimately put in this little case right here, but there were none in there. So that was kind of the downside to this thing, but honestly, to find this bandolier or this belt still in this good condition and then just filled with these figures on them, that was for me like one of the top finds of the big flea market I did with my buddy Laszlo. He found lots of great stuff as well. I actually wish we had brought the camera for that one. Then over here, one of the things I picked up, which was already kind of flunky, was this Monsters in My Pockets. Now this thing completely came off, unfortunately. The things inside are still sealed, but I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do with this thing now. Like, should I like glue it or should I just keep it as is? But yeah, this was pretty cool. A little multi-pack of these in French. So yeah, really liked what I saw over there with this, and I had to pick them up. Then I usually see these little pins when they're out, you know, in a collection of pins, but I never knew they came on these little packages right here. So over here you can see all of the ones that you could collect for. These are by Ace Novelty, and yeah, I ended up picking up Donatello, Raphael, basically all of the ones he had I picked up. So I picked up basically all of the turtles. We got a Michelangelo here and a Leonardo, so all with this cool packaging. Yeah, love it actually. So that was pretty neat, and I actually picked up a boxed turtle vehicle over there. I know there was this one booth that had a lot of really good stuff, and Laszlo actually picked up a sewer playset in box over there, and this was also there. So we kind of bundled up, and I decided to take home the Rocksteady's Pogo Copter. So the box could be in a little bit of a better shape. It is not sealed, but yeah, it's got this big crease over here. I can still get this pizza point out if I wanted to. So yeah, the back isn't too great, but it's all about the front when you want to display stuff, honestly. Over here, there is a really big crease, but when you open it up, you're actually greeted by the inlay still. And check this out, guys. I don't think this has been played with because the manual is still in its little packaging right here, with a Pizza Point Premium Catalog Volume 2. Gotta check that out. Maybe I need to open that up. And over here we still have the bombs and everything in the little baggie. So I'm not sure if this is like makeshift or anything, but it kind of looks like something that should have been in there. So yeah, the vehicle itself looks really in nice condition. So I'm thinking this might be one of those, it's unsealed, but the contents haven't been played with. So yeah, guys, that's gonna be it for this episode. I'm still working on the toy room. We're gonna do a toy room tour this month. I'm gonna try doing one in January. Gonna try getting it done, and yeah, working on some more toy histories, and hopefully we will have some more toy hunts or toy hunter weekends going on, so we can do a couple more of those things. But yeah, stay tuned for more videos. Please subscribe, and please leave in the comments what your best find was of last year. So yeah, see you soon. Bye.